this thing that we are seeing on the videos we are watching on Facebook, these structures were just created.
Yeah, it looks
so
like.
That is not a traditional community.
It looks like so.
So because of the mining activities, they created or they built that community around that area, because people now see that there's money there, and so they start their businesses, and gradually they start moving in. People are selling food, others are selling other things. There's a provision shop, and so the place now has turned into a community, like a town, sort of. So just because of the Galamsey activity around the area. Now the question is, with what has been done, how are we going to ensure that these Galamseyans do not return to site? Are the soldiers going to take over the place? For how long are they going to keep an eye on on the place to ensure that the Galamseyans do not return to site? Those are all the questions that we have to ask. Look at it means the whole place.
Serious, because the people are now moving deep freezers
and what have you. It's a community that they have created. I don't know, but
and I a few questions. First of all, I think that clearly this has been there for a while. I'm sure there have been other people who went there to do some operations who saw this particular community. Question I want to know, one of the questions that comes to mind is this located within the forest? Is one of the things that comes to mind immediately. Is this located within the forest in question? Okay. And then secondly, we should also commend them for at least having the courage to do this.
Yes.
Because I'm sure this community has been thriving for some time.
Yeah, it was built over
a certain period of time.
When you look at it, you can see that it's been there for a while. It is not just a 4 months, 5 months existence. They've been there for a while.
Well, okay, Nancy, let's get some answers from Nana Bosumpim, who is Western Regional Forestry Manager. Thank you very much for your time. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning to you and good morning to your listeners.
We are looking at the videos from the operation in the Subri Forest. Now, give us an idea. You seem to have set ablaze a whole community. Why?
Well, you may describe it as a whole community, but this is not a community. I call it an illegal settlement. It's a slum. It's a slum that evolved as a result of the illegal mining activity in the area. So it used to be a farming community with just 1, 2, 3 houses, mud houses, until the miners came in. I don't know the exact time in which they came in, but they have been there for quite some time. So you realize that they came gradually, and they are on the periphery, on the forest reserve, the Subri River Forest Reserve, the largest forest reserve in Ghana. And they do all their mining activities in the Subri Forest Reserve. I am well informed that over the years, there have been several operations to get rid of the miners away from the forest. But they all prove fatal, because if you get rid of them, they manage to regroup. Because they have that illegal hub, that slum, akin to Sodom and Gomorrah and Accra, it's always there for them to come back. Yes. So this time around, the operation focused on getting rid of that slum. It is not a community. It's not connected to the grid. There are no sanitation. You should be there yourself to see the kind of conditions people are living in there. All the structures we see there are makeshift structures, just wooden planks with plywood, and they put the roofing sheet on it. And in there, I have been there. I was there yesterday and the day before. There are brothels. You can see evidence of human trafficking. We have a lot of the rescue girls on video. People traffic from the sub-region, and they're all being prostituted. They are being forced to engage in prostitution over there. We saw nationals from the sub-region. That's why I describe the area as a representation of ECOWAS, because we saw people from Niger, Nigeria, Burkina, Mali, Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, Senegal. They were all there because of the illegal mining activity. That slum has no elders. The place is being run by a gang. They refer to that group as the Budo Committee. And it's a committee of some 20 to 30 heavily built macho men who run the area. Anybody who comes, they give you a parcel of land and you pay. And anybody engaged in that illegal mining activity in the forest on daily basis, they are forced to pay between 300 to 500 to this Budo committee who run that slum. Other than that, they will molest you. They will not allow you to even go into the forest. That is the situation in that illegal hub that abuts the forest, giving them a safe haven for them to continue with the Galamsey menace.
Wow. You mentioned brothels. You mentioned human trafficking.
Yes.
And you said the place is run by a gang.
A gang. We have all this on video.
Wow. Did you make any other arrests aside bringing down the community?
We were going, our initial assessment was that we were going to meet maybe 1,000 to 1,500, at most 2,000 miners residing in the community. We left our station around 12 midnight and got to the community around 3 a.m. Now, when the people started coming out, it was a nice show. The sheer numbers, if you see some of the footage, the numbers of all manner of people. In fact, at the point we're even roughly estimating some 10,000. And in such a situation, how are you able to effect an arrest? So we just gave an opportunity for everybody to get out. Get your belongings and get out. That's why you see in the video, people carrying their fridges, people carrying whatever they can pick, and in the door, they were living with these tricycles whatsoever. In fact, it was an eyesore. The sheer numbers of people we saw in the area. And also, we saw a lot of women and children. Women or children. And ask yourself, how many of these will you arrest? And which vehicle will even convey these people to the next police station? And which prison facility can accommodate these 10,000 people? So we decided to add a bit of human face to let the people know we understand they are in Islam, but the activity they are engaging is completely illegal. So get out of the forest. You have within 30 minutes to pack your things and leave. Other than that, this settlement is coming down. Not only did we see hotels, we saw evidence of drug trafficking, narcotics. We have them on video. Cocaine, we saw weed, we saw this tramadol. And for the first time, I saw this red substance, medicine, whatever they are talking about. You open the box and you pour it down, a lot of them. In fact, the people that we even arrested, early morning, they were dizzy, doused. You can see them in some kind of substance abuse.
I see.
That is the situation there. So you realize that as a result of the illegal mining menace, if you don't take care, Ghana will become a hub for trafficking of women and young girls. I spoke to one lady, a young girl who was 17 years, who said was 17 years, from Nigeria. She's called Success. She was from the Ojo State. I asked her, how did you get into this community, this slum? He said, my madam brought me. Who is your madam? My madam is at Sikuma. What do you do here? She said, as she brought me, there's a bounty on my head. I need to work and pay her some 40,000 Ghana cedis. And she's supposed to sleep with men for the madam to take the money. And this lady tells us of a harrowing experience where she's compelled to sleep with between 6 to 10 men daily for the so-called madam, whom I'm told is also a Nigerian, to profit. And after she did this for 7 months, and after 7 months, we're told she graduated. Can you imagine? The whole graduation ceremonies. I inquired from her on tape. So why are you giving a certificate? She said, no, there's no certificate. They just pour drinks and do a party for you, and they tell you you are now on your own. And you are on your own means you now also have the luxury to go to your village in Nigeria and traffic girls to come and work for you. You are now a madam. That is the situation there. I said that we saw Ghanaian children, young ladies. You ask them because they know they are young. They tell you, I'm 21, I'm 24. But I said, Papa, will lie. That is what is happening there. So you see evidence of human trafficking of young girls and women. We see evidence of the drug trade. We saw the mafia system where gangs known as the Budo, you have to pay for protection. You have to pay to work there. And then if you go into the forest, you know that this slum abuts the forest. You can see the destruction, the carnage. We haven't done a good assessment yet, but the little we saw, we can roughly estimate some 3,000 hectares of the Subi forest itself having been negatively impacted by the illegal mining activity.
I see. When I was talking about arrest, I was thinking about, because you said you saw evidence of human trafficking, you also saw evidence of drug trafficking. You talk about the Budo gang. Have you been able to arrest anybody from that gang? Anybody that was involved in drug trafficking among them?
If you watch some of the videos, you will see the miners just pardon us. We didn't molest anybody. We engaged them. There was they that told us that the Budo group left immediately we arrived because they had a vehicle. So they left immediately. And all the rooms that we entered, that makes it started that we took those drugs. There were no people in there. The people had left. So you break the door and you see evidence of these things in there, and you don't know who even brought them into that slum. So it's difficult to arrest people engaged in this thing. And for those who are involved with the human trafficking, we saw the young girls. We saw the ladies. In fact, their situation is so pathetic. In one of the videos, you see me doling out 200 Ghana cedis to one of the ladies to just find a vehicle and leave. Go wherever she wants to go. It's so pathetic. So at that moment, our interest was to get rid of the miners, get rid of that slum, so that they do not regroup and get back into the community. We started the operation just 2 days ago. Today is the third day. We are still going into the community to finish up the task.
So you are not done there?
Oh, no, not yet. Not at all.
What is left to be done?
Now, we need to, in the last 2 days, we've burnt not less than 2,000 pumping machines. We've burnt not less than 500 champagne machines. And for those mining equipment, some I don't even know their name, a host of the litany of them.
Those are significant numbers.
Oh, yes. You can see from the videos. I don't know whether you watch some of the videos very well. You see the burning, you see the machines. Huge. We stack them. So now we are going into the forest, and inside the forest, you see champagnes have been mounted inside the forest where they do the illegal mining activity. So now the mission is to make sure all those machines are immobilized or dismantled or bent from the forest reserve. And then the last vestige of that mining settlement to be cleared will all be cleared. And mind you, it is not only just one community. Just about 5 or 10 kilometers from the Abuaninka community is another community called Jerusalem. And their situation is even worse than the Abuaninka one.
Jerusalem.
We heard of what has happened there. Before we go there, we saw people packing out. The miners were living on their own volition, and that was a positive sign for us.
And you're talking about, you called it the Subri River Forest Reserve.
Subri River Forest Reserve, the largest forest reserve in Ghana.
You're saying, okay, so I know that at some point there were permits given to people to enter into forest reserves to mine, but that permit has to be given by the Minerals Commission, and you in the Forestry Commission have to endorse it.
Yes.
So you're telling me that these people have no such permit?
There's no such permit even in the Subri River Forest Reserve. Not even a legal permit to mine. There are no such permit. This is a complete illegal mining activity. Complete illegal mining.
How was this allowed to fester for this long? Because I can understand if they are just mining on a patch of land, but Subri River Forest Reserve. So I'm assuming that it is the source of a river that serves many people. How was this allowed to just go on for all these years?
Well, I've been here for just 1.5 months to 2 months.
You're new?
Yeah, I'm new. I'm new in the region. Yeah, but I'm aware. I have records of at least that community having been raided 3 times. Having been raided more than 3 times. There's been a joint operation with the military, I think with the Regional Coordination Council. And then last year there was an operation. But as to the success of it, well, maybe we didn't achieve the desired results we so wanted, because they managed to regroup and come back. But this time around, we went with a different strategy. Get rid of the slum so that the people cannot come back.
So this particular approach was informed by the fact that this former raids did not yield the desired results.
I think so, yes, exactly.
You said you're going in there today too?
Yes.
And the question that will come up, and it's great that you've decided to use this approach to try to clear the periphery of the forest to ensure that there are no people who are going in. But considering their persistence, what will be the move going forward to ensure they don't return into the forest?
In fact, we are resolved to sustain this operation. Yes, we are moving with a contingent of 40 military officers. There are about 30 forestry officers, and the rapid response teams also part of the operation. We go there intermittently. In fact, we are planning to go and camp there for some time. When the place is now calm, we retreat and go there intermittently to see whether there's any evidence of regrouping. We nip it in the bud. In fact, when we went there on Monday dawn to get rid of the structures, the following the one we got the people were laying foundation. They were trying to rebuild again.
Really?
So how recalcitrant some of them are.
A day after?
And they fled. Oh yeah, a day after. When they knew them they were going to come back. Yes. So it tells you how recalcitrant and obstinate some of them can be. We are also determined to go the long haul. We told them that we added a human face for the first time. But anybody who proves stubborn, the person will regret.
And what are you ready to do when you say the person will regret?
Because when we went there, we saw helpless people, women and children. We toned down on arrest. But this time, anybody who stays is somebody who probably may have done some investment in there and he thinks he's going to lose, so he wants to stay. That will be the real minor. We make sure all these people are dealt with, apprehended, and duly prosecuted.
And you were talking about...
And anybody who resists to, we can apply some reasonable force.
And give us an idea the kind of impact the activities, especially in the forest, has had on the Subi River, also on the forest itself.
I wish I can show we do a drone image I made for you to see the extent of this damage. But we can get it to you in due course. And after the operation, in fact, the day after, in fact, tomorrow, we are going to do a drone mapping of the entire area affected. And we can give real empirical data as to the extent of area impact. But ocularly, when we are starting in the committee, we can see what has happened inside the forest. You see the pits, the large patches. They use excavators sometimes, but I think the people feared there could be an operation anytime. So you hardly see these excavators in there. They come in intermittently and they retreat. So at the time we got there, there were no excavators. But then you see evidence of excavators having been put to work over there.
Okay. Then tell us about this. You said Jerusalem. What is it?
A second committee called Jerusalem. When we got there, they were leaving. Today we'll be there again. They were there themselves, were packing out because of what has happened in the other communities. I'm even getting intelligence of another third community. I'm told it's called Wasankai. That is not a slum, it's a natural community, but the miners are there in. And they move from there to the forest. There too will be the third target of this operation. After which, we are going to operate fully inside the forest reserve. Because around the Drapa, even yesterday when we were going, around the Dabuasi portion of the Subi River Forest Reserve, we saw evidence of the mining. We went there and burned about 10 sampan machines inside the forest and all that. Yeah, so it's an activity we need to sustain. And I think we are grateful for the support. The Ghana Armed Forces did very well. Forest Commission has always enjoyed military support when it comes to forest protection functions until the military was withdrawn in August 2022. And to date, that military support has not been restored. So it came as a pleasant sight when the Southern Command, the General Officer Commanding, and the Commanding Officer 2BN liaised together to give us 40 men to be able to embark on this operation. And I believe that military support to forest protection function, which has been there for years. For years, I have been with the Forest Commission for about 20 years. We are always had the military. We camp them at our bases and we move with them anytime we go into the forest. But since 2021, they were withdrawn. Some of our forests just became a no-go area. Even this running cry, there was no way I myself or my staff was going to go there because the people were armed. We picked weapons. The military picked weapons from the area. It's in the custody of the military now. So when you go there, they'll beat you up. Even it was so bad to the extent that legal timber concession holders who were operating in the Subi Forest Reserve could not go there. Don't stop you because the gangs are taking over. But as I speak to you, that community, that illegal slum is no more. Once upon a time, there was a slum called running crime. Today, it's no more.
I see. You talked about the gangs. So did you face any resistance from them?
They fled. But when you see 40 military contingent well armed with their vehicles and 30 forest officers together with the rapid response team, who would they stand?
But they also had guns.
Yes, they had guns. But look at our numbers and the guns that the military were using. We wish anybody had even attacked. We wished anybody had, and would have set an example.
And let me conclude by asking you this, whether you are thinking of consciously looking for some of the members of this gang which actually run these forests.
Oh, yes. We've gathered intelligence that they are around the Sukuma area. I think the intelligence agencies, the military, together with the rappers are on their heels. on their hills. They are moving, but in due course, we'll get them.
And for the sake of emphasis, how big did you say the Subri River Forest Reserve is?
It's the largest, more than 40,000 hectares. It's the largest forest reserve in Ghana.
Oh, so all these communities that were built around mining in this forest, the River Forest Reserve alone.
Slum that evolved as a result. I don't like to refer to it as a community. It's a complete slum.
Okay.
A complete slum.
Wow. Nana, thank you. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
I'll be stepping into a meeting any moment with the minister. So
Nana, thank you. Nana Bosompem is Western Regional Forestry Manager, joining us on the line and having a conversation on this particular thing. He said even today they are going there the day after. So they went in the operation, bend the whole thing down. Just like places we know, the day after, no, they started rebuilding again. So it means that these are people who have been... So